Hey guys, Gary over at Stripwell. Just wanted to show you working on something actually from home. This is just a little fun project. This is a 55 Chevy steering wheel, and this is the original factory paint on it. And I'm going to use the QCS to see if it can remove factory paint from a vintage steering wheel, 1955 Chevy, a classic. So here we go. All right, so I've coated it, and I'm going to just let it sit. These tougher finishes, I'm anticipating it's going to take a little longer. QCS has, proven to kind of get under a lot of different coatings. It just takes time. So I'm going to let this sit for a while and just kind of walk away from it and come back in a bit. I'll tell you how long. All right, guys, I've let it sit for probably about an hour, and I just gave it a really quick scrub with some steel wool and a little bit of a brass wire brush, just to kind of scratch up the surface and allow the QCS to penetrate a little bit more. Again, this is definitely a tougher finish, being an automotive paint, so I'm expecting it to take a little longer, but just wet it again. I'm going to let it sit and just continue to work. Alright guys, just want to show you an update on the steering wheel. We've got some great reaction going on around the whole thing now. See, it's all crackling. That's a good sign. So we want to get down to that beige color. That's the base color. There's a primer and a blue top coat. So we're trying to get that off and getting down to that beige original material that the steering wheel was made out of. So I just keep continuing to spray it down every once in a while. I'm not spending a lot of time on it and just letting it work. So being that it's not a flat surface, you just have to kind of keep wetting it every once in a while because it's a liquid, so you have to just kind of give it a spritz every once in a while. So I've been doing that over the last couple hours, and now I'm just letting it work. All right guys, I moved to a new spot just so we can get a little closer in. I was just doing it on a cardboard box in my yard. These are low-tech videos here for you. Just want to show you what it's like to do it right from your house. So anyway, this is where we're at right now. I just recoated it again, and you can see the coat, the old paint just wants to come right off. So that's a good sign. Again, it's not about necessarily the speed of how something works. If you have a lot of items to strip, you just soak them all, let them work, and don't rush it. It's doing the work for you. So I just let it sit, and when it's ready, it's ready. So I'm going to start to scrub it and see what happens. I may need to give it a little bit more time, but again, it's just your labor is the expensive part. If you're letting something soak, that doesn't cost you anything. So just a little bit of product. So I just have this brass bristle brush here, and I'm going to start to go over the surface. It's a little hard to do one-handed, so I'm going to do a little bit and then go off camera and do the rest. But you can see right here, it's taking it right down to the material we want to get to. So that's a good sign. You can see there. So we're going to go around and do the whole thing, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here is the steering wheel. I just gave it a quick wire brush. Took about, I don't know, three to 5 minutes maybe. I haven't put a lot of labor into the steering wheel. It's pretty much just letting the QCS just sit and work. The tricky thing about this is being that it's sort of two-sided and rounded. It doesn't have the ability to sit and puddle, which is really what helps it work. So if you were to have some sort of container to sort of submerge it in, I really do believe it would work very quickly, because it does work when it's wet. It's just that it kind of runs off a little bit and doesn't really stay on the all the surfaces. But what's nice about it is that it's not a gel or a paste, so you can really see what you're working with. You're not getting a big mess. And again, you can touch it with your hands. I'm doing it barehanded actually, and it does not impact your skin. So you can put gloves on, and my hands are turning a little bit blue. But I'm just gonna let this sit now for a little longer. And again, I'm just letting it do what it does. If you're someone who restores things for a living, labor is very important to keep down. So the key to this QCS product, number one, it doesn't evaporate, so it'll keep working for you. Number two, you just got to let it sit and work. But what's nice about it is being that it's not flammable or toxic in any way. It's really a pleasure to work with on those fronts, because a lot of the things you would normally have to use would cause problems. Also, methylene chloride based strippers often melt metals and deform different substrates, so this will not do that. So it just purely attacks the coating, and then once it releases, it comes off very easily. So we'll just give it some more time. Alright guys, here's the finished steering wheel. For any car guys out there that are familiar with redoing these steering wheels, I'm not sure, there's this beige kind of brownish color, and then under it, it looks like there's a black under it. There was a black on top of it too, so I'm not sure, but it's not, that beige is really on there, it's not coming off, but there were several coats above that. There was a black, like a whitish gray, and then I think the blue. So there was at least a few coats above what you see here. So anyway, nice and clean. Yeah, there you go. Took a little while, but it got it off. It just takes a little longer to soak. And again, I think if you submerged it somehow, it would work really fast. But spraying it on, it just takes, you know, several coats and a little bit of elbow grease in between. I would say I have probably about 30 minutes of actual labor into this.